What will your great-great-grandchildren eat? It's hard to say, but food scientists are cooking up some ideas. And while they work, we have a scoop on what's coming soon to a microwave near you. Now, before we get to the main course, let's start with dessert. If you like ice cream, then get ready for some new flavors. Or maybe more accurately, non-flavors. A team at the University of Illinois has created a way to print 3D ice cream that doesn't taste like anything. How? By removing sugar, fat, and water, the three things our tongues normally use to perceive flavor. That sounds kind of gross. But don't worry, these ice creams will be flavored artificially, meaning they won't rot or spoil. So if you want an orange creamsicle in the middle of winter, you'll be able to get one. Plus, this could help people who are trying to cut back on calories because, well, you can enjoy ice cream without all the extra baggage. The researchers published their findings in the journal PNAS in March 2022. They hope that someday 3D printed ice cream will be a thing. And considering how popular 3D printing is with kids, it's not out of the realm of possibility. In fact, the lead researcher told NPR that she was already in talks with a company that makes 3D printers for children. So if you ask Santa for that new Lego set and also some 3D printed ice cream, it might just happen. But moving away from sweet treats, there's plenty of other ways food manufacturers are getting creative with the way they make food. We all love the satisfying pop bubble wrap gives us, so why not incorporate that into the food itself? An engineer in Singapore has found a way to 3D print crispy snacks that pop when you bite into them. The outer shells of these little cubes are made of tapioca starch, which is commonly used in chewy candies, but instead of being soft, the shells come out crunchy thanks to a process called supercritical foaming. This is where pressure and temperature are used to infuse gas into a liquid, which once it's released forms those fun little bubbles. And since 3D printing allows for very precise control over the thickness of these layers, the snack maker can control exactly how loud each pop will be. As satisfying as that may be, though it's not clear if these little snacks will ever leave the lab, the inventor, Dr. Jung Tianbaum, told the Daily Mail that his goal was really to create more efficient ways of producing aerated foods like bread dough, whipped cream, or tofu. Still, the idea of biting into a cube of joy is too good to pass up. So here's hoping these snacks make it onto the market sometime soon. But even if your future meals include more pops than crunchies, don't worry, there will still be plenty of plant-based options, like cultured meat. You might have heard about lab-grown meat before, but a recent development in the field could make it much more affordable and accessible. In January of 2022, a company called Aleph Farms announced that it had successfully grown steak in a lab that was not attached to anything. Previously, scientists needed to grow this kind of meat on scaffolding, which not only limited the size of the possible cuts, but also added extra costs. But this time, they managed to grow a 2-inch thick steak without any support structure. And it didn't need any additional nutrients either. The meat grew in a nutrient-free medium, just water. This innovation was published in the journal Frontiers in Bioengineering and Biotechnology. It could mean that lab-grown meat isn't just a curiosity, but actually a viable alternative to conventionally raised meat. However, even if it becomes cheaper to farm meat in a lab, there's no guarantee that animals will stop being raised on farms. It depends on whether people actually want that to happen. A survey by the Pew Research Center found that 45% of Americans would consider buying lab-grown meat, but 49% said they wouldn't. However, this is only one piece of data in an ongoing discussion about the ethics of eating meat, the environmental impact of raising livestock, and the health benefits of cutting red meat out of your diet. There's lots to think about and lots to consider. Speaking of considering, take a moment to ponder this question. How do you make a hamburger more environmentally friendly? One approach is to replace the bun. Since the flour used to make buns requires a lot of water to grow, one company has found a way to make them out of mushrooms. And if it sounds weird, just think of how many fungi-based products are already in your fridge. Things like soy sauce, miso, tempeh, mushrooms, contain a lot of protein and fiber and can be turned into something that looks remarkably like a hamburger bun. In April 2022, the company behind the research, Miko Technology, partnered with a food tech company called The Very Good Butchers to turn their mushroom buns into a commercially available product. While these buns may seem like a small part of a meal, they could have a big impact. According to Science Direct, livestock and their waste account for almost 80% of emissions in the beef industry. Anything that reduces the amount of resources needed to feed those animals could have a significant environmental impact. And besides reducing the carbon footprint of burgers, scientists are working on making the burgers themselves more sustainable. For example, a team from the University of California, Davis has found a way to make veggie burgers without grinding the vegetables. Until now, grinding the plant matter into a paste was a necessary step in making veggie burgers. But the researchers found a way to bind the plants together using a combination of heat, high pressure, and enzymes. The result is a burger that's full of chunks of tasty vegetables and much more appealing to eat than a mushy veggie burger. The research was published in the journal LWT Food Science and Technology in February 2022. It could reduce the cost and increase the nutritional value of veggie burgers. But it's not the only development that could change the future of fast food. Fast food is notorious for being neither fast nor good for you. But a company called Fifth Season is changing that with the help of a very unusual ingredient, air. In May 2022, this company announced that they had developed a line of salad dressings that are mostly made of air. Well, not literally, but they're 97% water with a tiny percentage of flavoring and salt. They claim their dressings have 90% fewer calories than traditional dressings. Of course, this isn't the first time zero-calorie sweeteners or low-calorie alternatives have hit the market. But this is the first time that air has been the main ingredient. Now we're not quite sure how this will affect the future of salads everywhere. But if it does catch on, you might find yourself reaching for the air freshener after dinner. So from low-calorie ice cream to mushroom buns, it seems like the future of food is all about feeling good without doing too much damage.